obviously production is such a long-term thing. You
Yeah,
need to be going at it 4 years, and you need to be really disciplined with it. Whereas I think with the DJing, because it's kind of the short-term fun, do a show, mix in your room, it's so much easier to get on with. Whereas, I don't know, recording a song, writing the song, it can be quite a long process. But
yeah.
I feel like eventually is more rewarding, because once you have that song out there and people are listening, like that's...
All right, guys, welcome back to a Ravers Guide podcast. I'm here with Licia. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I just want to get started with how you got into drum and bass and like who are your inspirations?
No, for sure. It was funny because I used to actually kind of hate drum and bass. My best friend's brother was obsessed with it, and he would always listen to it, always be playing it, and I was like, I hate it, it's horrible. And then over lockdown, I kind of started listening to it more and more, and it kind of got the bug for it. And it was I was going into uni, and it was obviously lockdown, and I was listening so much, and my friend also had decks, and I had grown up around music. So I was like, I'm stuck in my room in lockdown in first year. Let's get a pair of decks and just like mess around for the fun of it. And from there on then, I just kind of got a bit obsessed with it, really.
Oh, wow. So what people were you listening to around that time?
It was mainly Document One was releasing a lot,
okay,
Urban
yeah.
Dawn, like that kind of vibe. I think A Little Sound was starting to release a bit. K9 especially, kind of the more vocally tracks, Shy FX, because I feel like that's what eases you in a little bit.
Yeah, so I want to move into classical music. Just want to know how that's like impacted your style and your performance now.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up playing like piano and clarinet, and it was weird because I liked that, and then I kind of got into the drum and bass, and obviously that's such complete opposites, like styles, but I really like incorporating, obviously mixing in tune as a DJ is like really important, but I love really focusing on that and focusing on the kind of transitions and how I can be creative with that. Almost like, because I used to compose like classical music. So
That's quite cool.
I kind of think of that as like my way of composing a song almost, by layering these different tracks together. Yeah, I feel like I really like that.
I mean, yeah, we just did a DJ set and the intro is very cool. I mean, we were pretty shocked at the beginning, but I'm sure you guys will like it when you see it. So obviously we've just come away from Halloween now, moving into November. You did a set for Euphoria and it was your debut there, wasn't it? So
Yes.
can you tell me a bit more about that? How was the crowd? How were the people organising it?
It was so good. I think it was because obviously Euphoria like was in Leeds, and when I was at Leeds University, I'd see them putting on these insane raves. I was like, it would be so fun to get involved with that. And then they had this competition, and I was like, I was playing Cirque du Soleil the night before in Leeds, handing over to Lens, and I was like, you know what, let's enter, would love to play, I'm here already. I was kind of probably going to already go anyway, because I was in Leeds. And I won, and I got there, and it was only opening the second room, but honestly, there was already like 3 rows of people. Everyone loves drum and bass there, so they've brought so much energy. Yeah, it was so much fun, and the sound system in Mint is insane.
Oh, I love the sound system. It's very hot in that second room though.
So warm.
Jesus Christ.
Even the first as well. It's sweatbox.
Yeah. And they have that weird little platform in the main bit. I always get confused by that bit.
The one at the back.
Yeah. I've got stuck on that so many times because there's so many people. But yeah, it looked really good. How were the crowd and everything there? And everything else?
So good. It's nice being on a bit earlier because I feel like that's when everyone has the energy and it's got kind of the reactions. And yeah, even though obviously at the beginning there was not so many, by the end it filled out and they're all dancing and screaming, and that's what I kind of love about Euphoria, because everyone is up for it. It's great.
Yeah, 100%. So we obviously just did a podcast with Fanchu, and obviously Fanchu has done sets with Euphoria, and you've also done a set with him in Manchester. Can you tell me a bit about that, what the event was and how it was?
So that was an up-and-coming Manchester promoter at Cable Club. They were doing an event, and Fanchu was playing a set. And I think the promoter reached out and they were like, we've seen you've got this song with Fanchu, like you're so welcome to come and perform it on the set. Which I was like, cool, because I've never performed live vocally without doing my own set. So I kind of went to the event, had some friends in Manchester at the time, and it was kind of weird knowing that I was singing at 3 a.m, right? But obviously I kind of arrived with my mates at 12 or 1. So I'm kind of just stood in the crowd, like warming up. Just hoping
like,
no one can hear me.
Just like, that's going to be me up there in a minute, like type of vibe.
So I did the song at the beginning of their set, and then they just absolutely smashed the rest of it, and I got to enjoy it. So much fun.
Wow, I bet that's very cool. I mean, great artist Fanchu is. I mean, it was great to meet him and everything. So he's a lovely guy. So obviously getting that opportunity, how did you get your other opportunities to start playing at events? Is it always through just winning comps, or have people just like offered you places on like events?
I'd say at the beginning it was more networking. I mean, my first few gigs were by chance, just people had dropped out and they knew I could DJ, and they were like, please, can you just quickly fill in almost? This was in Leeds. And then I moved to Reading for placement 2 years ago, and that was competition. So I won one with Hooked Sounds. I did a few bits, around Reading. A lot of Reading scene as well is more just like bar free kind of events that everyone's just up and coming drum and bass, and they're the most fun things to play. Like that's kind of where I got my experience.
They're the better type of events in my opinion, because you can see the rising talent.
Yeah.
I mean, the rising talent in the scene at the minute is just mental. Like it's just getting bigger and bigger every year.
Yeah.
So after doing those events, when did it just click? Like you could just do it as a career almost?
It's difficult because I feel like I've still not clicked with that. I mean, obviously I started writing music when I was like 13. I always knew like I would love to do that, but obviously there's always in the back of your head, you need to earn some money. Like it's really hard to earn money. But I think it was even the show that I did in September in Leeds, the Worried About Henry one, where I kind of looked at it and I was like, I can really see a vision for myself as an artist now. And I would love to do this as a career, like, and I can see potentially it for myself.
So that was one of my questions, the Leeds you've heard about Henry, because Hybrid Minds was on that lineup.
Yeah.
That is unreal. How was that event? Did you get to meet them?
Yes, well, I briefly said hello to them, but I think because it was so chaotic and because my set was at the end, I was just so nervous beforehand. Because I'd entered their vocalist competition as well a couple months back. So I was really interested in kind of showing them that. But yeah, it was really fun. Got to meet all the others. Emily Mackis as well, such a lovely girl.
Wow, yeah. Big name.
Yeah.
Very big name.
And then obviously taking over from Sota, was also like absolutely insane.
Did you ever see yourself doing that in life? Like, that's quite a big achievement.
It was like, it's one of my biggest inspirations, like just mixing wise and kind of the euphoric with the heavy jump up almost. So to even play a set after him, it's almost like, what do I play? Because like so much of it is Sota.
100%. You've also done other raves we've heard about Henry, am I right in saying?
Yes, I did the Subfocus one in Leeds. That was back at the O2 Academy. That was again like they had opened up the second room, but I feel like that was a really nice taste of the events almost. Because I think it was Subfocus Clips playing that event, which was really cute. And then I also supported Motionz on his Crowd Control Leeds tour in November.
Wow.
That was like my first big crowd, big like D&B crowd. So that was insane also.
Yeah, I think the Crowd Controls are such good raves. I've went to a few of them last year. They're pretty good. So obviously as we're coming to the end of the year, is there like any goals you've set yourself which you want to achieve next year?
I think just really pushing the music. I had 2 self-releases back in 2021 and 2022, and then obviously the track with Fanshu. Not much this year because I've just been working on writing and working on my own production also. So I really would love to get a self-produced, self-written track next year that I feel like I can play on these sound systems and that it's on par. That would be a big goal. And then just working with other producers, write as much music as possible.
So is there like any festivals you want to work towards next year? Like what would be your dream festival to perform at?
Oh, I mean, Boomtown is like
Boomtown 100%.
I've played Rosa Festival before, so that would be really fun to play. It's the small one kind of in I think it's Lake District or Peak District.
Okay.
And that's more like a smaller like festival, but the vibes there are just unmatched. I think I'd love something like Bolter because obviously it's Bolter's last year. I feel like that would be so much fun.
Yeah, that's like the son of Boomtown. I've heard Bolter Festival. It's a bit crazy.
Yeah,
which is good. Have you been to Boomtown before?
Yes, I went. It was my 3rd year this year.
Third year, wow.
Yeah, okay. But I volunteered this year, which I would highly recommend because then you get showers and you get to go for free.
So how was that like? Did you just like work like 2 days and then you have the rest off basically?
Yeah, I was doing the big green coach. So I was doing like on the Thursday getting people's bags off. But obviously the Thursday of this Boomtown was so rainy and muddy.
It was, yeah.
Everyone was in such a bad mood. And I was just with these bags, like take them, get up the hill, get into the festival.
Yeah, that hill is dodgy. Yeah. It's massive. But I can't wait for next year.
Yeah.
So they'll be mental.
So good.
So we're also talking about the Asylum agency earlier
Yes.
in the DJ studio. You work with a few artists. Can you tell me a bit more about that and what artists you have on it?
Yeah, for sure. So I started out a booking agent, sorting out the bookings for them, reaching out to promoters. I feel like because a lot of my own DJing has worked with networking and meeting promoters and messaging and following up with people, I thought I could really benefit other artists that way. So I've got Kumo, Freudy, Frankie D, Penga and Stilsy on my roster at the moment. It's been really fun just kind of working with the artists, seeing what they're producing, seeing the sets they're getting up to. And yeah, reaching out to promoters, trying to get them sets, which is really rewarding, obviously, when you follow through and you get them a set and they're so excited
100%.
for it.
So how did you just get into it? Like,
It was I think it was when I was in final year of uni and I had no idea what I was doing after uni, but I knew I wanted to work in music. And Liam, who runs the agency, and Toby, who runs Hooked Sounds, who also is part of the agency, he just put a Facebook post out being like, we're looking for an agent, give us a message, etc. And I was like, oh, this sounds like the perfect opportunity to get experience. So phoned Liam, kind of shown him what I'd done so far. Like I've done a bit of music marketing stuff as well. And he was like, we'd love to have you on the team.
Yeah. Wow, very impressive. I mean, we've got Penguin Stills booked in for a back-to-back in December. I'm very excited for that.
That would be sick. That would be sick.
Can't wait. So I just want to ask, what's your favourite out of DJing, producing and music? Or singing, basically?
Yeah, it's difficult. I think I used to love the DJing, like that being my top, but now I'm trying to do the more producing and the vocals. I think that's not taken over, but a little bit. I think I'm falling in love with that again after kind of doing producing and singing before getting into drum and bass, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So how's that been going? Has it been easy? Or is it just struggle after struggle so far?
It's difficult. Obviously, production is such a long-term thing. You need to be going
100%.
at it 4 years. And you need to be really disciplined with it. Whereas I think with the DJing, because it's kind of the short-term fun, do a show, mix in your room, it's so much easier to get on with. Whereas, I don't know, recording a song, writing the song, it can be quite a long process. But I feel like eventually is more rewarding because once you have that song out there and people are listening, like that's just an unmatched feeling.
That's the one thing with producer. You can never really fully master it. There's always more you can learn. It just keeps going on and on and on.
Sure.
It's rewarding for sure. So on the topic of producing, what producer would you like to collaborate with yourself?
Ooh, I mean, top dream is probably someone like K9 because of the just heavy dance floor and like the euphoric vocals. I think as well, kind of like the Annex, Camo and Cricket.
Wow,
that kind of like big vocal and just crazy synths and crazy, obviously neuro and jump up stuff like that is what I'd ideally do. Or even Primate. I know obviously Ecstatic. She's been
some big names there,
yeah. I mean that was the dream, obviously.
Yeah.
That kind of big heavy euphoric build up and then scat.
Yeah, I mean, every time I hear Come On Crooked, I just think back to that Boomtown set. That for me, best set, Boomtown.
Top of the list.
All the way at the top. So looking back at your career so far, is there anything you wish you did like different or anything you changed along the way?
I think I wish I was more sure of my sound or more sure. I think when you're up and comer and you're getting these events, you obviously take whatever you can get and you take a set that isn't your style at all and you're on warm up and you're just having to completely change what you would like to be playing out to do it. So I think sticking earlier on from what I wanted and playing that regardless. Obviously you've got to change and like if you're doing a super warm up set, you can't be playing like jump up from the beginning, but backing yourself more.
Yeah, I think that's a massive thing, just backing yourself more, especially at raves and making your own music. I know some people can be very harsh on themselves when it actually sounds pretty good. So what would you say, like what's next for you? Have you got any new releases, any new events you want to plug or anything?
Well, 2 of the songs that I just played in the set, hopefully one of them will be coming out soon. We're still working on it. We're just wanting to make it perfect. And then events wise, I've got actually a really exciting garage set in Leeds at the end of November.
Oh, wow.
And I'm playing live clarinet during it.
Oh, that's different.
Also, because you know the classical intro of my set, that was one of the pieces I used to play on clarinet.
Okay.
So I was like, it'd be funny if I play some like Sammy Virgil on a clarinet.
Sammy Virgil on a clarinet. I've never heard that in my life, but
I was like, for the content as well, like I hope that will do well, because who's seen a clarinet being played at?
Yeah, I mean, all them ravers are going to love it when they see that, 100%.
Or be confused. I feel like that'll be
a bit of both, 50-50, I'd say. But on the subject of DJing, what's one tip you'd give to someone who just wants to start out and just finally push and just buy their own pair of decks?
I think I see a lot of people thinking they need to spend a lot of money on it. And I think there's a lot of cheaper ways. Like you don't have to have the best speaker set up. You don't even like... I've used my headphones a lot of the time just so I don't piss off my parents if I'm DJing. Like,
I've had that problem as well.
Even you don't have to get brand new decks. You can get them off eBay. Like you can even just use Rekordbox and just play with it on your laptop. Just getting, or even on your phone. I know
I've been seeing people do it on their phone.
Just getting an eye for what songs go together, how to layer songs, how BPM, like just the basics, and not getting too caught up on doing like triple quad drops.
Yeah, it's a bit over the top sometimes when people do
Yeah,
that type of stuff. So obviously we talk about Leeds and wrote about Henry and stuff like that. What's been like your favourite venue so far which you performed in?
probably the
With
Leeds
the
Road.
Leeds
Yeah,
Hybrid Minds, yeah.
Testbed is their new venue, and just the production is insane. Like I've never played on a sound system like that. I've never played. Obviously, the microphone is wireless as well, so it means I can actually go out and
Yeah.
perform and not.
Don't get entangled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've got my headphones on the microphone and I'm like, what on earth is going on?
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely there.
What venue was that in again?
Testbed.
Testbed. I haven't heard of that one. What's it like?
It's just like one big. It's like a wider Printworks almost.
Okay, yeah.
Obviously all the lasers, the lighting, the visuals. It's opened up in Leeds officially kind of from September. So Worried About Henry was kind of their first drum and bass show.
Oh, okay.
They had Teletech the week before as well, which was immense.
I bet.
Yeah, I'd love to play there again.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna have to go visit that venue. It sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
So out of all the releases you've had so far, which has been like your favourite and why?
Oh, I think it's a tangle between obviously Stay Bright with Fanchu and my first track, Energy, which I kind of released when I had no idea what production was, and I recorded the vocals on some Apple earphones. But lyrically and kind of songwriting wise, that's still my favourite. And I'd love to reproduce it one day, I think. And to be able to play it in the rave, because right now the production was back when I'd only been doing it for a couple months. Yeah.
Oh well, that's the goal then. So obviously you've performed at a few raves now. What would you say is like your top thing which you love about the performing at the raves?
I think it's the reactions and just seeing people having a good time.
Yeah.
It's even fun. I have a lot of it when, like, at the end of a show, like girls especially will come up to me and be like, it's so refreshing to see a girl on the decks and doing the exact same thing and still having fun with it, which I think is also like super rewarding as well.
Yeah, I mean, I bet it's very cool just people coming up to you as well, just letting you know that you did a good job after all that pressure as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Sure.
So recognition obviously being a big thing. Who would you say is smashing it the most in the scene right now, which you want to give a shout out to?
Well, I feel like FMS doesn't really need a shout out because he's
No.
But I think I did Leeds Fest with him, and just he played Euphoria as well last week, and just seeing like the work ethic he has, it's incredible. El Pablo I've been loving as well.
Oh yeah.
Especially his productions, just immaculate. Shout outs to a few, I think just up and comers. My friend Bluck, she did the kind of Worried About Henry Leeds show last year. She started producing and is just going from strength to strength. And more of an up and comer as well, a girl named Aura. She just won the crew cast at Halloween.
Yeah, I've heard of her. Yeah.
Every blend I see from her is just, I love it.
Perfection.
So,
yeah. No, we had FMS down for episode 1 of Rose Go Pod. I think me and the owner Paul, we're still getting over that set because that was something different. That was. So obviously moving away from drum and bass, is there any other music genres you like? You mentioned garage earlier. Is that something you like more or on the same?
I'd say drum and bass is always like at the top.
Yeah.
But I do love garage, a bit of 140. I think those shows in Reading that I did, where it was kind of just the more fun, free shows, that was where I got more into DJing garage, because why not? Yeah, I've done a lot of that. I mean, in my spare time, obviously, I like the classical side still, a bit of jazz. Yeah.
You mentioned Teletech earlier. Do you like a bit of techno as well?
I do like it. I'm not.
Just don't perform it. Is it just more of a raver you go see?
I think techno is hard to do well DJing wise as well, because it's so much more. I don't know how to like.
Yeah, I mean, I look at some of the videos and I'm just like, how? I don't even know where to start if I was going to go into a drum roll like that, to be honest. So yeah, as we're coming to the end of the podcast, there's just 2 more questions I want to ask you. Just want to get to know what it's like on a day off, Alicia. Like, when you're away from the raves, would you like to get up to any hobbies or anything?
Well, I do the agency work, and I've also got like a full-time job. I do like influencer marketing campaigns for a label. And then any spare moment is music, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's the hobby. Because if you're not doing it 24/7, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to prove, are you, if you're not doing it all the time?
But I mean, writing the music, I guess, as well, is kind of a hobby, even if it is just for fun.
Yeah. Just music. There you go.
Every day.
So yeah, last question I want to ask you is just what's your opinion on the studio and who do you think we should get down next?
I mean, insane, obviously. It's nice going somewhere. it's a bit different to a pirate, isn't it? Because
Oh
it's
yeah,
got all the but I love the lighting. It's very funky. I like the
very funky. There you go.
style choices. In terms of who to get down next, I mean, obviously you've got Pengo and Stills. Freudy, I feel like would be a good one. He's just had a release with T-Lex, Light 'Em Up, which was going in Sota's sets all of summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get on that and have a little look. Well, thank you for coming down, Licia.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's any time. We'll see you guys on the next episode. There we go.